Hello and welcome to On Europa League quarterfinal second leg. 4 great games to analyze on Thursday. We saw a lot of surprises, especially the shocking defeat at Anfield. Atalanta taking Liverpool. Very important, Dani, to have 5 teams next season in the Champions League for Italy.
Crucial.
Perhaps even 6 if there is some combination, something winning the Europa League. Well, let's see what happens. Ciao, Dani. Hello,
Ciao.
Alvaro. Hi, everyone. Of course, comment the video with us. Subscribe to our channel. And now let's go on with the show. Let's start with the all-Italian tie that we have in these quarterfinals. There was a bit of a discussion in our channel about Dani's tip in the first leg. Dani said, this is an under in San Siro. There was someone saying, this is going to be an over. And it was an under, but Roma took the lead, surprisingly beating the odds. Mancini is the hero in the derby in Europe as well, scoring important goals. Roma's game, by the way, at the weekend couldn't be finished at Udine, and in Europa League, Roma, even in Europe, they are super strong at home, especially in knockout stages. That's why, Dani, I'm kind of surprised to see these high odds for Roma. The bookies still think that Milan can turn around this tie, but Roma at home in Europe is very difficult to beat.
Extremely hard to beat. By the way, we have to say Roma couldn't finish the game at Udine because Evan Dika had a problem with his heart, but he's fine. He's recovered. They're going to continue that game, the last 20 minutes of the game, at some point when we will know whether Roma are going to play in the semifinals or not. But at the moment, his advantage, Roma against Milan, two of the most informed sides in Serie A behind Inter. In the last 12 games in Serie A, 27 points. They average just more than 2 goals per game. So yes, this should be an entertaining game, but it was an entertaining game also at the San Siro, even if the scoreline was only 1-0, because tactically it was really interesting to see the Rossi's move, who deployed El Shaarawy from left to right to make sure alongside Selic they could control the runs of Leao. And Milan probably kind of underestimated Roma a little bit, thought they were going to play a little bit more open, but actually Roma were very, very smart in their defending. They showed more composure, but has to be said, Milan also missed a couple of chances in the second half, so probably a draw would have been a fair result. Giroud hit the bar, but now this is it, really. This is the season for Roma and Milan. Milan, by the way, on Monday, they're going to play the derby. And if they avoid defeat, they will prolong Inter wait for the Scudetto. So 2 great games for Milan, who dropped points at the weekend against Sassuolo. But again, it is normal. They made a lot of changes to the formation. They were playing against a team fighting for their life. What is more concerning for Milan is that they conceded 29 goals away from home in Serie A, and they got like the 3rd or 4th worst record in the league. Can they go to Roma and keep a clean sheet? Be careful, because in the last couple of seasons, when we thought Milan were going to be dead and buried, they always managed to bounce back. They got a very strong group, a very strong mentality. This is how they won the league a couple of years ago. So do not discard a Milan win here and maybe the game going to extra times. All the last 6 games for Roma, including the one at Udine that wasn't finished, have been under 2.5 goals. They look a little bit more balanced. Still the same players on the pitch, but a little bit more mindful a lot as well of the defense. But now the stats corner. Roma have only lost one of the last 24 Europa League home matches. And what's more, they are unbeaten in European knockouts ties at home since 2017 against Villarreal. De Rossi was still playing there. So that's 18 matches in knockouts. Careful. 18 matches, won 5, drawn 3. Last 9 games in at home in the competition, 9 wins, 1 draw, and they've scored for 32 consecutive games at the Olimpico in all competitions. And also, when it comes to Italian teams, we have to say most of those games are under 30 out of 37 Italian derbies in Europe had 2 goals or less. Is this one another one to extend the statistics? Perhaps no, but I do love the both to score here, 173. I can't imagine Milan keeping a clean sheet at Roma, no. Scoring a couple of goals, probably. Roma gonna net, both to score, 173.
A lot of Milanistas were complaining in social media about Leao. They were saying that his game was very poor. When the team needs him, he doesn't show up, and was one of the reasons that Milan couldn't score. Another one, Giroud missing a really clear chance in the last minutes. Roma to qualify, by the way, is 1.3. Milan to qualify is 3.2, depends on the bookmaker. Alvaro, do you trust Roma? The Rossi keep getting the results, even if they are getting a lot of unders in the last games, or Milan to take the Olimpico?
Well, I think that I will trust Daniele's tip, and I'm going to go for both teams to score as well, which will be in the region of 1.7 from now until Thursday. I do believe that it won't go down dramatically, this odds. And I can take it, yes, because Milan had endless chances against Roma the other day, or not endless, but many. And if you look at the numbers, they had 25 attempts, and Giroud should have scored. And I think that they were at least attacking minded, and they have to be attacking minded again, whereas Roma at home, I trust them to score too. So I'm going to go for both teams to score. Roma has been good with the Rossi, we know that. Only one defeat at home with their legend. But Roma has done the most difficult part, and they know that in this game they can speculate a little bit. But again, the defenses of these two sides are not... Milan's defense is better, obviously, but they are going to attack. Roma is not the best side when they defend deep either, and then in the counter-attack with the likes of Lukaku, they can score as well because they've got firepower up front, and Dybala too. No Azmoun for Roma, but still Dybala and Lukaku are formidable. So I'm going to go for both teams to score, yes, 171. And let's don't forget that Roma beating Milan is not that common. At the end of the day, when Roma beat them at San Siro last Thursday, it was the first win over Milan in 10 encounters. So everything is still quite open, in my opinion.
Well, you both agree then with both teams to score. Well, Roma is great in knockout stages. Remember this. Before betting, Italy will have one team in the semifinals, perhaps very likely two, because Atalanta, they were able to beat Liverpool at Anfield 3-0, the second time they visit this stadium, the second win. And what a win. They had a lot of chances, even at the counter-attack. They could have scored even more goals. Scamacca's second goal is just beautiful. And Liverpool could be depressed. They lost at home all the effort of the season, losing to Crystal Palace, losing to Atalanta on Thursday. If you want to be hopeful, Álvaro, Liverpool won in Bergamo 5-0 in the Champions League in 2020.
Yeah.
But it's going to be very difficult right now. And if you want to back Atalanta again, by the way, the odds are great. 4.7 for La Dea to win.
Yeah, this game for me is tricky. I think that Atalanta is going to qualify, but maybe we have a very good performance by Liverpool, and they score all the goals that they haven't scored over the last two games, because Liverpool has been scoreless in the last two games, and this is very weird. I mean, Liverpool hasn't dried out. I hope that the latest results don't misguide us, because they had 18 attempts against Atalanta. I think Atalanta deserves to win the game, don't get me wrong, but Liverpool still have 18 attempts. And against Crystal Palace the other day, on Sunday, they had 21 shots as well. They just didn't score. Jota, Curtis Jones, Mohamed Salah missed plenty of chances too. Suddenly they are misfiring, but they are going to score. I really think that they are going to score this time, because them going 3 games scoreless is really weird, and Liverpool has very little to lose right now as the situation is. You could back Atalanta with a positive handicap. For example, an Eisen handicap plus 1.25 for Atalanta, 177. it's quite interesting, I would say. But maybe I prefer Liverpool not to score more than 2 goals. So Liverpool to score under 2.5 goals, 162. Yes, I like this one too. Basically, will keep Atalanta qualified for the next round with Liverpool scoring 2 or less. I think that Scamacca will want to validate and to prove his worth again against an English side after very bad experience in England. On the other hand, Liverpool are going to attack. We know that they can trigger remontadas, comebacks. They did it in Istanbul to overcome a 3-0 deficit. They did it against Barcelona in 2019. But still, I believe that Atalanta somehow are going to make it. So, yeah, those will be my bets.
Well, I'm sure Liverpool will go, Dani, as in the Western movies, gung-ho, all the horses, all the cavalry, to attack Atalanta. There is no other way to overcome this deficit.
If there is a team in the world, or if there is a team in the Europa League that can overcome a 3-0 deficit away from home, that's Liverpool. The tie is not open, but it's not as close as people think. Liverpool can easily score 2 goals in the first half, and then it's a completely different game. The 3-0 scoreline, it's a fantastic win for Atalanta, deserved win because they played on the front foot, they didn't just back off, they committed players into the box, and it showed in terms of when they create the opportunity. There were always 2 or 3 Atalanta players in and around Scamacca, but it's a very generous scoreline. In the first 20 minutes, Liverpool could have scored 2 goals. The first goal is a mistake from Kelleher. The second goal, Scamacca is on his own.
And the third one, maybe,
yeah,
too.
it's a small mistake. But then there's
by the way, Alisson is back, Daniele, by the way.
Big boost, of course. Yeah. It's very important. And also in the second half, there's been a moment from the 55th minute until the 61st minute that Liverpool had a shot every minute, wide, on target, whatever. So really, they can turn it around. Of course, a bad week for Liverpool. I don't believe the wheels have come off completely. Fighting against City, as we mentioned in the previous video we done about Champions League, can be exhausting. You are fighting against a juggernaut that wins every single week. And this season, City are not perfect, but it can happen to lose every now and then, both for Liverpool and Arsenal. The problem for Liverpool is that they do score a lot of goals. They seem very attacking focused. They don't keep many clean sheets, and conceding a goal here could be the end of the tie. If they score 2 and then they concede another one, that could be difficult. Liverpool have not kept a clean sheet in the Premier League since the 2nd of March, but even against Palace, when they didn't play very well, they had good chances in the first half. Atalanta, look, I didn't expect them to win 3-0. I know they've done decent away performances this season, but a bit of it and miss. If you look at the away table in Serie A, they will be 8th. I know they beat Napoli 3-0 at home, but frankly, Napoli have been really bad this season at the Maradona. They were beaten by Inter 4-0. At home, Atalanta have only failed to score once this season, if I'm not wrong, in the league against Juventus, who play for the 0-0. So it could be a both team to score, but I do love Liverpool Asian handicap minus 0.75, 190. I think Liverpool are going to win this one. Why not going for these odds? Even if they win by 2-1, 3-1, the place in the semi-final for Atalanta is saved. The coefficient is saved. So yeah, maybe for the sake of the bet, back Liverpool to win this one.
You think Gasperini will sit the team really back, Dani? He's an offensive manager, no?
No, he won't. No, he won't. They won't back off. But equally, with 20 minutes to go, if Atalanta are losing, they'll defend. They'll try to defend deep. I imagine. I think that's when I kick in. But yeah, I mean, obviously, they know how dangerous Liverpool can be. In this one, the first goal, it's crucial. If Liverpool scores the first goal before 15 minutes, it's very open. Huh?
Well, Liverpool to qualify 6.3, really good price after the terrible week they had. Let's see if they can turn around this situation. By the way, very important, if Atalanta knock out Liverpool, Italy will have another spot next season in the Champions League, almost for sure. Next game is Marcel Benfica 2-1 up. Di Maria and Rafa scored, but of course the usual suspect in the Europa League, Aubameyang, scored again for Olympique Marseille, rested in the weekend. But Dani, 5 consecutive defeats for Olympique Marseille. Absolutely, really difficult to trust, in my opinion, Marcel.
Very difficult after a very good start under Gasset. 5 consecutive wins, now 5 defeats. They're 10 points away from Monaco, who's currently in 4. Maybe having not played the weekend might help them. But it was very concerning before the game against Benfica that Gasset, after the defeat at Lille, said pretty much the same words that Gattuso used a few months before being sacked. We are an embarrassment. We are rubbish. There is something fundamentally wrong. I think Marseille is a team that has got couple of good players, perhaps a couple of them pass the best, but they can still deliver every now and then. Of course, I talk about Aubameyang, and they got Jonathan Klaus and Harit. The rest sometimes seem to be a little bit lost with no clear tactical plan. Benfica, we'll see whether they're going to be paid the fact that they haven't put the game to bed when they were on top, because the first couple of the first 2 goals and the first 50, 60 minutes, it was only Benfica on the pitch. And actually, the goal from Rafa Silva is a very good team goal. They should have gone for the jugular, scored the 3rd, the 4th, and instead, a mistake at the back by Antonio Silva, a young defender, opened the road for Aubameyang to score and keep the tie alive. They won 2-0 at the weekend. Benfica against Moreirense. They're not going to win the league this season. So yes, it is all about the Europa League. I don't think they're going to get defeated in France. Let's go for an Asian handicap plus 0.25 for Benfica. 185 is an Asian handicap. If they win, you win. If they draw, it's just a half a win for you.
Well, Benfica away from home beat Rangers, drew with Toulouse, both games low scoring games. Alvaro, your input on this one?
It's a tricky one. I'm going to differ a little bit from Daniele's choice. I'm going to go for a draw no bet for Marseille. That doesn't mean that they are going to go through, but I'm more than happy with that one. 181, they are playing at home. Them to qualify pays very good, but I find it very unlikely. Pays 325, by the way. But yeah, I think that in Europe this season, they've been pretty good. I mean, at the end of the day, we just have to check the results at home to see that they drew with Brighton and Hove Albion, they beat AEK Athens, they beat Ajax, they beat Shakhtar, and they beat Villarreal. And their goal average at home in the Europa League has been really good. So there are 2 Marseilles. The one that plays in the Ligue 1, for whatever the reason, they haven't been able to make a difference there. They are 8th or 9th in the table, far away from the European spot. All the criticism that Daniele was mentioning is totally justified. But then in Europe, the side changes, there is more motivation, maybe the opponents don't know them too well, and they average around 3 goals at home in every European game this season. So I think I'm going to back them with a draw no bet because they have had tough opponents as well. At the end of the day, I talk about Brighton and Hove Albion, and I talk about Villarreal, and they beat Villarreal 4-0 when Villarreal was in a good moment, because Villarreal in 2024 is one of the good sides of La Liga under Marcelino. Last weekend they drew at San Mamés. So yeah, I think that I'm going to back this side. I know that Aubameyang can score. It's very remarkable that he has hit already 10 goals in the Europa League this season, and that he has netted 25 goals in all competitions at the age of 34. In the first leg, what I expected happened. What most people would have expected, so Rafa Silva, Di Maria, Aubameyang making the difference, happened. I think that in this game, maybe everything is going to be a little bit tighter. Maybe everything is going to be a little bit more open because Benfica can speculate. But still, a draw no bet for Marseille, 181. Otherwise, you can go for the goals market because over 2.5 goals has happened a lot with Marseille in this competition at home.
Well, probably is the weakest team of the semi-finalists, the one winning this tie, but of course, they are 2 European classics, Olympique Marseille and Benfica. And the last game is West Ham Leverkusen. Xabi Alonso's team won 2-0. The current German champion, as we saw on Sunday, 5-0 against Werder Bremen. Xabi Alonso with the beer on top of him, full party. in the Bayer Arena. What a season for Leverkusen, and they got a very good advantage in the first leg, scoring in the last minutes, even if they were drawing, as we said in the first video. In these quarterfinals, they keep attacking, putting balls in the box. They have a lot of faith. Of course, they haven't lost a single football game this season, and the hope of West Ham is that they are going to be the first one to defeat them. But it looks like an end of an era for West Ham. In the Premier League, they are getting really bad results when they are playing at home in Europe. Is another thing. So it's very difficult, to be honest, Alvaro, to trust this West Ham and to think they are going to be able to come back against one of the best teams in European football right now.
Yeah, because, okay, if you look at the big picture and the numbers, all right, West Ham has won their last 11 home games in Europe, but I don't think this applies here, really. They've been just very unlucky to be paired up with one of the most dynamic teams in Europe. I'm talking about Bayer Leverkusen. A side, West Ham United, that barely rotates. A side that lost to Fulham, pretty much not doing any rotation again after having played on Thursday. And on top of that, Jarrod Bowen, I think that he won't be featuring because in my books, I think that I wrote that he's expected to be back in late April, and I don't think that there will be a miraculous recovery for the English striker. No Paquetá, no Emerson, both suspended, and West Ham United is a totally different side without Paquetá and without Jarrod Bowen. And West Ham suffers against very mobile sides because West Ham is a little bit sturdy, is robust, and they've got the highest age average of the Premier League, or their lineup at least has. And Bayer Leverkusen is totally the opposite. I mean, West Ham United is not very dynamic, even though they are a decent side, and Bayer Leverkusen is one of the most dynamic sides in Europe. They have been unbeaten in 43 games. They beat West Ham United with a few difficulties, of course, in the first leg with late goals from Hoffman and Boniface, but this time I think that Bayer Leverkusen is going to do the job. I don't know if they are going to win comfortably, so that's why I'm going to back them with an ACCA handicap minus 0.25. So, I think that that gives you a little bit of a guarantee, a little bit of a backup. Florian Wirtz has been amazing. He scored a hat-trick in Bayer Leverkusen's win to clinch the Bundesliga title, the first ever in their history. I don't think that the party factor is going to make a difference here. I saw Athletic Club Bilbao, after being drunk for a week, just competing very well against Villarreal on Sunday. So I expect the same thing from Bayer Leverkusen. Xabi Alonso's beard, by the way, has to stink with the amount of beer that he got the other day on top of his body, on top of his head. Anyway, I love the variety of attacks from Bayer Leverkusen. When they get the ball in the final third, they can do anything. Send it to the flanks, low balls to the striker, low balls to the penalty spot. I mean, they know what they are doing, and they are very dynamic, and I will back them with an Asian handicap minus 0.25.
Well, Xabi Alonso looks very fit, ready to play football anytime. What a legend as a footballer and as a manager in only one season at Bayer Leverkusen, ending the history of the club. Is the first ever title, remember, in the Bundesliga for Bayer Leverkusen. They won the UEFA Cup, by the way. Maybe this is the second title, or even if now is Europa League. Dani, but one of the games where Leverkusen suffered the most in this season was in Europa League, away from home against Karabakh in the previous round. I don't think we can compare the Karabakh game with this one. But well, pay attention. As Alvaro said, the West Ham numbers at home are very good in Europe.
They are, and the last season they won every game in Europe, so they never had to overcome a first leg deficit. But they did manage to do it 2 years ago when they lost 1-0 to Seville, and then they went through via extra time, and also they did it against Freiburg. They won 5-0. Of course, West Ham defensively have lost a little bit of balance. Only kept one clean sheet in the previous 17 matches in all competition. 4 defeats in the last 11. Better in Europe. I think sometimes the schedule Thursday, Sunday for a team that doesn't rotate a lot, like Alvaro said, is very, very tough. And of course, without Jarrod Bowen, 19 goals this season is going to be difficult. Winless in the past 4 home games in the Premier League. A team that for budget, for history, for fan base could challenge for top 6, top 4, top 8, maybe. Maybe this is going to be the last few months of Moyes' reign, but West Ham need to be really careful who they choose next if they want to maintain the top 7, top 6 status in the Premier League. It's not going to be easy, but yeah, it's been a difficult season this year. We would expect a little bit more improvement, especially in the scoring department. They've conceded the opening goal in 10 Premier League games in 2024. That's a little bit worry for them in a game where, again, the first goal could be massive. But Leverkusen celebrated the title in style. First title since the German Cup in 1993. 43 games unbeaten. The record, by the way, is Benfica 48 in 1960. Still achievable for Leverkusen if they don't lose until the end of the season. They scored 123 goals in 43 competitive games. The last defeat was 27 May 2023. But if it was going to be a Leverkusen win, an easy win, it would be absolutely boring. And I think in football, there are surprises. And for me, this could be the surprise of the round. It could be a West Ham win here, not necessarily a qualification to the semifinals, but maybe after the title, after the celebration. I know it's a cliche, but maybe West Ham could have a chance. Double chance, 1x, 190. So even the draw will give you good returns. 190 for the double chance with the home side.
Okay. Is Tom Rennie around you, Dani, with all this?
No, Tom Rennie is not around me. I know he doesn't believe in it, but probably is the best time of the year to face Leverkusen. They've already won. They won the first leg. You can beat them 1-0, 2-1. Why not? If you have a good, again, first goal is massive. Leverkusen scored the first goal. You can turn the TV off.
No one thought Atalanta was gonna win 3-0 at Anfield, and look, strange things happened in this world in football. Dani, is this your safe bet, Leverkusen to lose?
No. My safe bet is Liverpool to win. 174. I hope Atalanta will qualify, but I think Liverpool are going to win.
Dani, remove this jumper with the Italian flag.
No, that's fine. It's fine. I'll keep it for a couple of weeks. Just wait for the derby of Milan. Let's see.
Alvaro?
I like Italian brands too. It will be Fila. It will be Asian handicap plus 0.25 for Leverkusen, 140.
Fila is a classic. Diadora. I used to love the Roma t-shirt with Diadora. I think it's an Italian brand, no, as well.
It is.
Yeah, it is. It used to be the sponsor of the.
Yes. La Roma is, I think, is the club with the most beautiful t-shirts, by the way.
Totally.
Alvaro, your ACCA?
ACCA, Asian handicap plus 0.25 for Marseille. Marseille Benfica over 2.25 goals. Asian handicap plus 0.25 for Leverkusen, altogether 347.
I will be very happy to wear the Rossi's t-shirt with La Roma.
But nice brand. Nice brand.
Dani, your ACCA?
3 selections. Milan Asian handicap 0. Liverpool Asian handicap -1. Benfica Asian handicap 0. Asian handicap means you can get the money back in all the 3 selections or 2 of them. Total odds 854.
Yes, indeed. By the way, many bookies offer you good bonus with the ACCAs. You can get a percentage extra if you add the selections that Alvaro or Dani Fisichella just told you. Thanks everyone for watching. See you very soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Ciao.